All right, there we go. 103-74 Arkansas wins. 29-point victory over James Madison. Really good first half for Arkansas. Second half, they kind of messed around, traded baskets for a while, and then Arkansas went on a 12-0 run and put away the game and then got the reserves in and ends up winning by 29. A cover, and it goes over. Let's get this thing started.
All Arkansas, all sports. It's more sports.
They finished the non-conference season just like they should. This is a bye game with James Madison, not a great James Madison team. And Arkansas takes care of business. They came in a 24.5-point favorite, and they win by 29 points. And it was really good to see Malik Thomas back and shooting the ball like we know Malik Thomas can do. We talked about it today on Out of Bounds, the one thing that I would like to see in this game. If there was only one thing that was accomplished, it would be Malik Thomas get back on track. And he came in the first half and just absolutely lit it up. 18 points in the first half. He came in and he missed his first three-pointer and then just bam, bam, bam. You know what I thought was the key? He missed that first three-pointer, went to the basket a couple times and got fouled, and made 4 straight free throws. And as a shooter, when you see the ball going in, you go to the free throw line, you're finding that touch, you get that feel, and then I think it just started falling for him. He just, hit his next 2 threes, and he all of a sudden had 10 points, bam, just like that. They go to a media timeout. Arkansas had taken a 23-12 lead. That was the under 12. And then that's when Arkansas went on a 14-0 run. It was a 17-3 run in all, but Thomas hit 2 more threes after that and had 4 threes in his first half. He started 4 of 5 from the three-point line after missing his first 3 and had 16 points, hit another basket, 18 points at the half. Darius Acuff had 10 points at the half. The 2 freshmen had 28. And outscored James Madison together because at the half, Arkansas led 48-28. So the 2 freshmen combined for 30 points, and James Madison only had 28 points. But, man, it was good to see Malik Thomas get back into the flow of things, shooting the ball. I would say his first couple of threes, maybe all 4 of those first threes were all in the flow of the offense. Then Malik got a little happy, had a couple of heat check moments, forced some shots, I thought. Now, he made a couple of them, but when he's in the flow of the offense and the ball comes to him and he's open and they run some plays, they have some out-of-bounds plays for him on that baseline, he's really good. When I think he tries to score too much, it disrupts the offense, and there's too much of that everybody else standing around looking at him dribbling, trying to get his shot. That's the only thing that I don't like. But when it's in the flow of the offense, man, he is such a dangerous weapon, and they're going to need that. And you got to keep in mind, I'll try to keep in mind too, when you get up by 20, 30 points, then the game kind of falls apart. I noticed something in the second half. They came out in the second half. Arkansas was up 20, and this kept trading baskets. James Madison actually outscored Arkansas at the under 16 media timeout in the second half, had outscored them 12-9. And James Madison started the second half 4 of 5 from the field, 2 of 2 from the three-point line. Well, Arkansas was 3 of 4 from the field and 2 of 2 from the three. Nobody was missing. And there was no defense being played. They came out and they were just shooting. Both teams were shooting really well. In fact, out of that media timeout, I think Carter Knox hit a 3 and it got it back to a 20-point lead. And it was just stayed that way. I think Arkansas got content. They knew they were up 20. They knew they were going to win this game. And there was a point after the under the 16-minute timeout. Coach Calipari changed things up. No, this was after the under 12-minute timeout. Arkansas came out pressing. There were a couple of things I thought there. One, he was tired of watching the second half, how it was unfolding, and they weren't playing any defense. They weren't very aggressive. So he makes them go full court, speeds up the pace of play. James Madison started turning it over. Arkansas got some steals. And it just picked up the pace. It made Arkansas play some defense because they weren't playing very good half court defense to start the second half. Well, this made them get after James Madison. And I think another thing, it is the first game after a Christmas break. Now, I know they came back, and I'm sure they practiced extremely hard, and he felt like they were in shape. He did this late in the second half, or about midway through the second half, and this is a way to get the guys conditioned. This is almost like more practice. He's going to run them a little bit. You make them go full court. They're trapping, they're pressing, they're running around. Uh, you could see after about 3 minutes of that, and Arkansas, by the way, when he did that, went on a nice little run. I think that was the 12-0 run in the second half that put it away. Yeah, 12-0 run. And, I mean, it was already put away, but it went – next thing you know, they were up by 30-something. But I think it was kind of twofold. He was tired of watching them not play defense. He was tired of just the way the second half was going. And so he was wanting to speed up the play, create some turnovers, but he was also working on their conditioning because when it got to that media timeout, those guys, even though they were on a big run, they weren't celebrating and high-fiving and coming over to the bench, jogging to the bench. A couple of them leaned over and was pulling at their shorts because they were tired. And the mission accomplished. It picked up the pace. It got them the big lead, and it worked on their conditioning. I thought that was just a brilliant move from Coach Calipari because I'll be honest, I don't know about y'all, but I was losing interest in the second half. I mean, first half was great. You're up by, 20 at the half. And I was like, okay, this game's over. And then they played the beginning of the second half like it was over. I mean, they were still scoring at will, but they weren't playing any defense. And when he did that, that changed the entire second half, and it forced them to get after it and play some defense. A couple of things that I noticed there. We got some more notes and stuff that we'll get to throughout the show. Feel free to hit me a question, your comments about the game. We'll address those. I know we got people still joining us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And we'll talk about this game and get ready for Tennessee, the SEC opener, Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Don't forget, we'll have the Bet Saracen postgame show live on the Buzz following that game. We're going to be at Walk-On, so invite everybody to join me and Josh Neighbors. We'll be watching the game at Walk-Ons and then doing our show live from the patio at Walk-On. So come on out and join us and be a part of that show too. And we'll talk some Razorback basketball. SEC opener against Tennessee. And that's a heck of a way to get it all started, isn't it, against Tennessee? Same thing as last year. I noticed one thing today when we were on the Buzz. I was just wondering, how has Coach Cal's team, what did they do last year after the Christmas break? Because that can be a tough game. You're off. They haven't played in, 9 days, 10 days since the Houston game in New Jersey, 9 days. And so you go away, you do Christmas. I'm sure you're not eating well, or you are eating well, and maybe gain a little weight, get out of shape a hair, and then you got to come back and you got to practice them hard. I went back and looked. They played Oakland last year on the Monday following that Christmas break, very similar to this year, and beat Oakland by 30 points. And remember, that Oakland team is the team the year before that knocked Kentucky out of the NCAA tournament in the first round. That led to a lot of Kentucky fans not being happy with Coach Calipari and ends up leaving and coming to Arkansas. So he had that team ready to play last year and beat Oakland by 30. Again, this year has a team ready, and they win by 29. So you got to give Calipari a little credit for that, coming after off the Christmas break. Yes, you're not scheduling a top-tier opponent, a top 25 team. You're scheduling a bye game against somebody you should beat, but they were ready to play. There was no messing around with James Madison, although they got off to a slow start. Arkansas only led 9-7 after the first media timeout, and I wrote this down. They started the game 0 for 5 from the three-point line, and they were 4 for 4 inside the three-point line. One of those was a basket and a foul, made the free throws, so your 9 points. Inside the three-point line, perfect. Outside, 0 for 5. And we'll take a look at the shooting percentages here in a few minutes from the three-point line. And it's probably skewed a little bit there towards the end of the game, but about 4 or 5 minutes left in the game, they were shooting over 50% from the three-point line. And they'd only missed it a handful of times, 5 of them the first 5 of the game. They missed. So their shooting percentage after the first 5 was phenomenal from the three-point line. But Arkansas ends up winning this one by 29 points. Got a couple of notes and things I want to get to. I see more people joining us. I'll let you get your questions, your comments in, and I'll tell you real quick about some of the big things going on. The final week at Guatney Buick GMC, they got some huge deals, but only for a couple more days. 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 up to $15,000 off MSRP. 2026 GMC Yukons, $10,000 off MSRP. 2026 GMC Sierra 2500 up to $11,000 off MSRP rate and off MSRP and rates as low as 0.9% financing. No payments for 90 days. These discounts absolutely end. Close of business on December 31st. So tomorrow and Wednesday, you can take advantage of these great deals at Guatney Buick GMC. Come out and find out why they are Pulaski County's #1 General Motors dealer. Big part of the show. Big thanks to them. Want you to go out and support them. And don't forget, if you own a business, want a tax deduction, a write-off, you got 2 more days to get it done. All right, let's go take a look at some of the comments real quick. Lance says, big time game from Thomas. Malik Thomas. Yeah, let's take a look at the stats real quick for Malik Thomas. He ends up with 28 points, a career high, 8 of 16 from the field, 6 of 10 from the three-point line, 60%. Think about some of his shooting percentages that he's had from the three-point line in recent games. Outstanding, 6 of 7 from the free throw line, 28 points in 27 minutes. And they were trying so hard to get Malik Thomas to that 30-point mark. I think he missed his last – was it his last 3 shots or his last 2 shots? You know, he hit that 3 on the fast break, came down, pulled up, hit the 3, and I think James Madison called a timeout. And I was wondering, was that going to be it for Malik Thomas? Would they pull him? He left him out there. I think, once again, Calipari knows these kind of little milestones. We talked about it with Darius Acuff. He left Acuff in that last blowout to get a double-double, pick up another couple assists. As soon as he got the double-double, pulled him out of the game. I think it was the same thing. He was really wanting Malik Thomas to get that 30-point game, that 30-point performance tonight. Lance also says Ewan looked strong also. I think we can count on Malik Ewan. He's gotten to the point where this guy is crafty enough. He moves without the ball so well. Finished with 11 points, 9 rebounds, had a couple assists or 1 assist, 2 what is that? 2 personal fouls. I was thinking he had a couple steals. I'm on the wrong page. We'll take a look at the stats in a minute. But yeah, I feel like Malik Ewan's one of those guys that's going to get close to a double-double for you. 5 of 8 from the free throw line. Would like to see that a little bit better. 6 of 8, 7 of 8, but all in all, not too bad. Here's one I was talking about. Roderick says, I turned it off at halftime. You missed one stretch in the second half that I was talking about where Calipari, after a timeout, put them in a little full court press. They started trapping, getting after James Madison, and he forced them to play some defense, and it led to a 12-0 run. Besides that, there wasn't a whole lot that you missed in the second half. The show was in the first half. Roger says, Wes, it was a good way to end 2025. Almost a perfect way to end 2025. I mean, it wasn't a perfect game, but pretty darn close to it. Did what I wanted to see them do, and that was, one, get Malik Thomas going. Lance says Saturday will give us an idea of where we stand versus the SEC. Yeah, it's an 18-game grind. And you started off against one of the teams in the upper echelon of the SEC, Florida, Tennessee, Arkansas. Guess we got to throw Vanderbilt in there. I'm reading more and more. I'll be honest, I haven't watched Vanderbilt play an entire game, so I can't say I'm a believer, but I guess I need to start believing. Let's see who else is going to be in there. Who am I forgetting? Alabama and Auburn. I mean, they're both going to be solid. But, yeah, and I think I love this. They're probably going up against the most physical team in the SEC in game 1 against Tennessee. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and find out where you stand against a physical team. You failed against Houston against a physical team. You failed against Michigan State against a physical team. And Duke, not really a physical team. Boozer's physical, but that's about it. But let's see how you handle the defensive pressure, the physicality from Tennessee after you failed against Houston. Back to some of the comments. Oh, Roderick says he had to leave at first half to go watch his cousin. Excused. You're excused, Roderick. Priorities, right? You gotta take care of family first. Let's take a look at some of the final stats real quick and the final numbers. You see some of the numbers going across the bottom of your screen, but we can take a deeper dive into some of these numbers. Let me go to, let's look at the team comparisons here over on the right-hand side. Look at this. Arkansas shot 55% from the field, 34 of 62 from the floor. 3-point line, 15 of 28 from the 3-point line, 54%. And I'm trying to think, okay, at the very end, Kelly made that three at the very end. Did anyone else? Well, let's look here at the 3-point shooters. No, Cardi Louetta didn't come in and shoot. Brown didn't. Kelly made that one. So Isaiah C. No. So no, none of the reserves skewed that. Actually, they helped it with Kelly making that three. So 15 of 28, that's 54%. They started 0 for 5. So they finished the game 15 of 23. I know you can't forget about the first 5, but after getting off to an atrocious start, 0 for 5 from the 3-point line, they were 15 of 23. That's an incredible stat. Free throw shooting, 20 of 31, not a good night. It's an okay night, 65%. That could cost you in a game. DJ Wagner, 2 for 4. He can't do that. Nick Pringle's not a very good free throw shooter. Malik Thomas, 6 of 7. Malik Ewan, 5 of 8. Got to do a little better, Malik. You're a 7 of 8, 6 of 8 type guy, not 5 of 8. And I'm getting on him for missing one free throw. And Jovic missed one of his free throws. So I thought one of the others, right? Didn't the other reserve, what's his name, came in and was 0 for 2. Is he not on here? Oh, there he is. Brown, 0 for 2. So I guess it skewed it a little bit, the 65%. It was in Jovic. So the reserves were 1 of 4, which hurt a little bit. But still, 20, let's say 19 of 27. That's better. That's close to 70%. Turnovers, Arkansas only had 6 turnovers the entire game. And I want to say, here, I'll look here. I think 5 of them came in the second half. I think they only had 1 turnover in the second half. Yeah, 1 turnover in the first half. And that was it was funny there for a while. You could keep up with the turnovers because there were so few of them. But Billy Wagner drove in against the zone. Only negative for the night, a couple of times Arkansas just did not handle the zone well, and it just seemed to slow the offense down to a crawl. And it's so simple. Once they get a guy flash to the high post, to high middle by the free throw line, they dump it in, and he turns, shoots it, or turns, kicks it, and it's pretty simple. But there's so many times they don't recognize the zone for like 3 passes, and then they're, oh, somebody go to the middle. And then by then, it's like, okay, you got to hurry the shot clock. Just the awareness of it when the team's playing the zone sometimes irritates me. And I know it's easier when you're in the crowd or you're sitting there watching at home. You can tell it's a zone right away. But anyway, points off turnovers, because Arkansas had only a few turnovers. Oh, that's in the second half. Let me go back to the game, the entire game, because taking care of the ball – turnovers, and Arkansas outscored them 21-8 in points off turnovers. Rebounding was good. Second chance points, Arkansas outscored them like they should. Points in the paint, Arkansas dominated. Had 32 points in the paint. Fast break points, look at that, 31-5 in fast break points. 6 blocks, 7 steals for Arkansas, good. The assist to turnover ratio had to be outstanding. 24-6. As a team, that is outstanding. 24 assists off of 34 made baskets. That's sharing the basketball. 24 of 34. And then again, they only had 6 turnovers. and forced 14. I'll tell you what, James Madison did a better job in the second half. They only had 5. But then again, Arkansas didn't play the same type of defense in the first half, in the second half as they did in the first half. I thought Douglas played well for James Madison. Bradley Douglas played at Little Rock. He was a nice player for Little Rock. I remembered him and hated it when he transferred out. But he was 19 points. I think he was 4 of 8 at one point from the 3-point line. Finished with 19 points. And McBride, who was their leading scorer, with 13 points, 1 of 4 from the 3-point line. And McBride came in the game, I think I said on the radio today, making 48% of his three-pointers. So Arkansas obviously knew that, saw the scouting report, did a good job holding him down, their leading scorer, below his average for the season, and 1 of 4 from the 3-point line. That's knowing your opponent. Let's look at the home stats for quick. Darius Acuff, another very solid game. 17 points, 6 assists for him, only 1 turnover. Trevin Brazil, quiet night for him. I hate people get irritated with me. But I just expect so much more out of Trevin Brazil. 8 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 block shots, 2 steals. So he was doing a lot besides scoring. I watch him on offense and he irritates me because he's 6'11", athletic, and he just stands out there at the 3-point line waiting for someone to drive and kick it to him. And there was one possession I watched, and the shot goes up. He never moved from the 3-point line. I'm like, you're 6'10", go get the rebound. At some point, you got to cut to the basket. Malik Ewan one time in the second half was posting up, and he was posting up, and he was bouncing it, and bouncing the guy around. In the middle, all the James Madison guys were looking at him. What was he going to do? How is he going to spin? Their backs are turned to you, Trevin Brazil. Cut to the basket. Ewan's a great passer, tosses it up to you, kicks it over to you, slam dunk. But there's just too much standing and watching and waiting for his teammates to set him up instead of Billy Richmond. If you watch Billy Richmond, that dude is nonstop motor on offense. He is not just going to stand at the 3-point line waiting for the ball. He sees a lane, he cuts to the basket. And you saw it, get it to him a couple times tonight for easy baskets. They don't run a play for DJ Wagner or for Billy Wagner. Billy Richmond, sorry. Billy Richmond, 8 points. Shot it 6 times. How about that? He missed both his threes. He was 4-4 from inside the 3-point line. Didn't miss a shot from the field except for those 2 threes. But that's him not having any offense run for him. He's just hustle, moving around, cutting to the basket, and gets it, and gets 4 dunks or 4 layups, easy shots. That's what I'd like to see out of Trevin Brazil. Cut to the basket, move around, be active on offense. You're too good to just be standing there on the 3-point line. Carter Knox, 7 points, 3 of 7 from the floor, had 4 rebounds. I'd like to see Carter Knox get involved more on offense too. DJ Wagner, another good. This back-to-back good shooting performances from DJ Wagner. Remember against Houston, I think he finished 4 of 8 or 3 of 6. I know he was 50% from the 3-point line. So DJ all of a sudden is picking up his shooting average from the 3-point line. He finished with 14. Pringle had 6 rebounds. Malik, we've talked about Malik and his 28 points. Malik Ewan, 11 and 9, almost a double-double. Had an assist, 2 block shots, 3 steals. I knew he had a bunch of steals, so he led the team in steals. And then you got Billy Richmond there, like we talked about, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. I didn't realize Billy Richmond had that many assists. 6 assists for Billy Richmond, 6 for Darius Acuff. And Billy with 2 turnovers. Led the team in turnovers, didn't he? 1. Yeah, Billy Richmond, 2 turnovers. But I guess maybe we've come to accept that. That's Billy. That's what he's going to do. All right, that's a good look at all the stats. Let me get back to our comments. Here's one from Hunter. Hunter wants to know, is it time to get Ewan in the starting lineup? I don't care. I mean, look, Pringle got him off to a good start. He had that dunk early off of the steal, running the floor. I don't think it really matters who starts. I'm one of those guys. And one thing Coach Z has said, Nick Pringle's a really good practice player. Like, he goes hard in practice. And so he feels like it's Coach Calipari's way of rewarding him and showing his teammates, look, this dude brings it to practice. I'm going to start him. Now, let's look at the total minutes. Nick Pringle, 19 minutes. Malik Ewan, 19 minutes. Usually, Malik Ewan's playing more minutes than Nick Pringle. Tonight, I did not realize it until we just looked it up, 19-9. But let's say, this is a closer game, and there's probably 4 more minutes that these guys are playing. Malik Ewan would have probably gotten those 4 minutes and had a little bit more than Nick Pringle. I would tell you this. My bet, Hunter, when we get into SEC play, Tennessee, whatever, you're going to constantly see Malik Ewing in the mid-20s to upper 20s and Pringle 15-20, 15-9. Ewing's going to get more minutes, and he'll be on the court finishing the game. So I'm fine. I'm really fine. It doesn't bother me at all that Nick Pringle starts the game. Here's one from Lance. Lance says, Vandy is not that good. They might be 13-0, but the best team they beat is St. Mary's or Memphis. And Memphis, by the way, has struggled, and they have not played a top 25 team all year. I didn't realize that. Then they did have a nice – was it Wake Forest? I want to say Wake Forest was a nice win. Not that Wake Forest is ranked, but Wake Forest is better than Memphis. And St. Mary's isn't the St. Mary's of old that, has beaten Gonzaga and been one of those West Coast Conference teams in the NCAA tournament making some noise. I don't think St. Mary's is good. But I get your point, Lance. I don't think we should be in awe of their 13-0 record. And look, if they were 13-0 and had beaten some teams, they would be ranked in the top 5. They would be definitely in the top 10. But because notable wins missing from their resume, I don't think they're a team. Let's just say I'll be interested to watch Vanderbilt the first couple of weeks in the SEC play and see if they're for real or not. But I can't remember who it was. Somebody that knows basketball was on the buzz, and we were talking about Vanderbilt, and they said that they were a good team. Are they going to win the SEC? Don't think so. But got to give them a little credit where credit is due, that they're a nice team. They could be a 10-8 team in the SEC. That's one thing. What are we thinking? 18 games in the SEC. What do you think Arkansas's record's going to be? We got a couple of days to think about it, but 11-7, I'll take. I'm wanting 12-6. 12-6, you're usually right there with a chance to win the SEC. 13, might get you the SEC title. I'm pulling up their schedule right now. I know Tennessee's first. That's it. I'm 1 week at a time. Let's go. I'll share the screen with you. Y'all keep it up in your head. Count your victories and tell me just a second what you think Arkansas is going to end up with. Let me share the screen with you real quick, and you can look at the schedule. Got it? All right, Tennessee's up first. Home, you got to win that. Your first home game of the SEC. At Auburn, at Ole Miss, you got to split. Chris Beard's going to have them playing really good defense. Same thing, Auburn. Tough place to play. That's a Saturday game at Auburn. That place is the jungle's going to be wild. I'm hoping for a split. South Carolina, got to get. That would be 3-1. At Georgia, Georgia's got a nice team. They're very athletic, fast tempo. I'm going to say loss, 3-2. Come back, Bud Walton, Vanderbilt, 4-2. LSU, 5-2. Oklahoma. Okay, here's one of those. You got to start to establish yourself. Get some road victories. I'm calling for a W, 6-2. Kentucky, no way they're losing to Kentucky, right? Got to get Kentucky. That place is going to be electric, 7-2. I hate Mississippi State. Chris Jan's heck of a coach. They always play well there. 7-3. LSU. Why is it they always seem to lose a game at LSU every year? It's just you can write it down. They do it every year. 7-4. Come back, get a little revenge against Auburn. 8-4. Tuscaloosa is going to be tough. 8-5. Missouri at home. 9-5. A&M. That's a team. You know, they lost one of their not one of their top players, but a very solid player today, out for the season. Since it's at home, 11-5. Florida, very tough game in Gainesville on a Saturday. I'm gonna call it a loss. 11-6. Texas at home, get them 12-6 at Missouri, or 12-5, and then Missouri. So is that right? Did I count that right? 13-5. If you win it, you're either 12-6 or 13-5 with the last game at Missouri. 13-5. I'm going 13-5. That's just a quick look at the schedule, top of my head. What did y'all come up with? It's 18 games.
Arkansas, all sports. It's more.
Got to hear that second time for free. 13-5. See here what Mr. Bloodline says. I'm keep going back and forth with this team. Final Four, it's not a Final Four. Is it Final Four? Not Final Four. But I have a good feeling about this team. I'll tell you this. Here's the key. Keys. Trevin Brazile, when you get to the Sweet 16 game, Elite 8 game, Final Four to get to the Final Four, he's got to play like that 20-10 that you saw against Texas Tech. He cannot play. Look at the 3 losses this year. I got to give credit to Randy Rainwater because he charts all scoring in every game. But the 3 losses, Duke, Michigan State, and Houston, Trevin, I think, was like 3, 7, and 11 total points, or 3, 5, and 11. I got to look that up for myself because it was a great stat. He's basically been a no-show in the 3 losses. And he has that kind of talent to take the team against a really good team to another level, like he did against Texas Tech, 20-10. Like he did against Louisville, a good win at home. 3 losses, he's been almost a no-show. So Trevin Brazile's the key. Carter Knox has to play like he did in the NCAA tournament last year. And Malik Thomas has to keep coming. Look, it's one thing to score 28 against James Madison, but he's got to do that against he looked terrible against Houston. They had him rattled, and he was playing way too fast against Houston. He was turning the ball over. He did not look comfortable. That's Houston. Granted, that could be an Elite 8 Final Four team. But to get to the Final Four, you got to beat a team like Houston. So those are my 3 guys, because I think you can count on Darius Acuff, Malik Ewan. You know what Billy Richmond's going to get you. You know what DJ Wagner's going to get you. He's going to have 6 to 12 points. He's going to be solid. Probably not going to go off for 20, but he's going to be solid and make some shots for you. So you got to have somebody else in big-time games against some of these top teams, Carter Knox, Trevin Brazile, or Malik Thomas, to step up. And that's what scares me. That's what keeps me from saying they're a Final Four team, because one of them is a true freshman, and the other 2 have been inconsistent. And so the hope is one of them is inconsistent one game but plays really good the next game, and vice versa. And they can carry you with even though they're inconsistent, hopefully they're inconsistent on different nights. And you can get a 15, 20-point game from those guys because they can score. That's why Carter Knox is still projected to be drafted, because he has the ability to score against anybody, and he's a good shooter. That's what worries me. Let's see. Lance and Roderick both said 11-6. I was at 11-6 going into the Missouri game. Okay, so 12-6. 12-6 is my final. It's the SEC. You're going to have some losses. You got some tough road games I mean, the Florida game is down the swamp. That's going to be difficult. Out at Alabama, you got at Auburn, at Mississippi State, Norman, at LSU. You shouldn't lose. You got to sweep LSU this year, but for some reason, and at Georgia, who's playing really, really well right now, and at Ole Miss. Those are difficult, nice teams that play well at home. You got to win the LSU game this year. You can't go down there to the PMAC and lose that game, because I think I had them going 9-0 at home, and that's the goal, is to go 9-0. But it seems like every year there's that flub up. I didn't see that one coming. So you can't go 8. If you go 8-1, you're going to have to get four or five road wins to get to 12 or 13. So I think 12-6. I'll stick with 12-6. Although you get that LSU game, you're 13-5, at least mine. And Roderick says, I think Missouri gets this at least once. Are they playing Missouri twice, Roderick? I thought they were only playing them once. I thought it was just let's see here. They got Missouri at the end of the season at Missouri. Oh, yeah, Missouri comes here. You're right. You think there's a split with Missouri? I don't think so. I think they're going to own Missouri this year. I think that's it. I had one other note I want to discuss before we get out of here. What was up with the official in the shorts with Malik Ewan? Was that borderline ridiculous? How do you feel about the shorts? I mean, or tucking your shirt into the shorts. Made him leave the game. I've never seen that before. Made him leave the game because he wouldn't tuck in his shorts. And I don't know what Ewan told him, like his shorts weren't. I don't know. But he made him leave the game. And Calipari, he came over to Calipari's like, tuck them in. Get your shirt tucked in. Let's go. Get back in there. I thought it was a little over the top. Maybe, I guess I've never seen it. And I guess most of the time when a official referee comes up to a player and says, hey, tuck in your shirt, and they just tuck it in. And he went over to you and told him tuck it in. He was kind of tucked it in here and here. And it was still out over here and still out over there. And I don't know. I thought it was just a little ridiculous. But then again, if you're Malik, just tuck your shirt in. It's not that hard. They want your shirt tucked in. Tuck it in. And Billy Richmond was doing the same thing. I don't know. It just irritated me a little bit, the whole thing. A, it irritated me. Tuck your shirt in. But B, it irritated me that he just kept on. The official kept on and made him leave the game. I'd have just stood there with the ball at the free throw line and said, we're not going until you tuck your shirt in. Tuck your shirt in, or you're icing your own teammate here. That was Malik Thomas at the free throw line. I'm not giving you the ball. Tuck your shirt in. But for him to leave the game, I don't know. It was just a stupid little note I wrote down. I was like, what are we doing here? What is going on with the shirt police out here? Yeah, Mr. Bloodline, let me read your comment. Why, in all reality, should they have to tuck their shirts in anyway, though? If you're playing hard, it's hard to keep the shirt tucked in. Yeah, that's a good point, too. And it's not like the shirts, back in the day, the shirts would droop down to mid-thigh. These shirts, even like I noticed, like Billy's, his shirt barely even goes to his shorts. It's a short shirt. And so why not make shirts with a little elastic around them at the end, and that the no tuck shirts? I know they're worried about hands getting caught and fingers getting broken in the bottom of the shirts because the shirts are all hung out and you grab them exactly. But I don't know. I think it was a little obnoxious anyway. All right. That was my little soapbox, a little tirade for the night. I thought it was ridiculous. Arkansas wins. They get a 29-point victory on to SEC play. Tennessee, Saturday afternoon. I can't wait for SEC play and ready to get this SEC season started and see if they can't win an SEC title this year, but more importantly, stack some quality wins so they can end up with a top 4 seed. Love to have like a 1, 2, 3 seed somewhere in there, but they got a lot of work to do. They'll have to make a run through the SEC, win the SEC title, and get up there in the net ranking and pick up one of these really good seeds to make it a little bit easier in the NCAA tournament. All right, that's going to do it for tonight. Big thanks to Gwatney Buick GMC for being a part of the show, being a sponsor. Go check them out. End of the year sale going on. Also, tomorrow night, really cool interview. The Lakeside deep offensive lineman that has signed with Arkansas, Tucker Young. I caught up with him. Great character, great personality, a typical offensive lineman, well spoken. It was a really good interview. We're going to play that for you tomorrow night. We got some high school coaches on Wednesday celebrating the end of the high school football season. And then Friday is going to be big. Portal Day. Portal officially opens Friday. And we'll come back here with some, hopefully, some really good portal news on Friday. So we've got a big week. I know it's New Year's Eve, New Year's Day coming up, but that's a good thing about YouTube. Those there are on YouTube. You miss it, don't catch it live. Go over to YouTube, watch it anytime during a break. Get tired of watching some TV. Go over to that was one of the things I noticed, like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, day after Christmas. There were like 1,000 people went back and watched old shows. Just that was like a week or two old. Once you discover it, you can always go back and watch some of the other shows that you might have missed over the last couple of weeks. So don't forget, if you can't catch those in the next couple of days, make time. Really good interviews are coming up later this week. I appreciate all y'all. Thank you for joining us tonight. It was fun after 9 days of no Razorback basketball. I just enjoyed having them back on TV and watching this group play. They are fun to watch. That'll do it for tonight. We'll be back here tomorrow night with more sports.
All Arkansas, all sports.